We start with breaking news. Lori Vallow just arrived at the Madison County Jail. That's the one in Rexburg. Her journey started early this morning in Hawai'i, where she was being held. Now, the Boise airport just confirmed with CBS 2 that Vallow did fly into Boise on her way to Rexburg. Let's take a look at this Facebook Live from our Sinclair sister station, KUTV, out of Salt Lake City. This was Vallow arriving at the Madison County Jail in a van. Vallow arrived in Rexburg just about 20 minutes ago. Now, she will appear in front of a Madison County judge tomorrow. She is facing several charges, including 2 counts of felony abandonment in the disappearance of her kids, Tylee Ryan and Joshua J.J. Vallow. Vallow herself could face up to 14 years in prison for each count of desertion of a child. Her Idaho attorneys have filed routine court documents asking the judge to reduce her bond, and they're requesting documents and evidence from the prosecution. Well, coming up in just a few minutes, we will be having a live report from Rexburg on Lori Vallow's return and what's next as the FBI continues searching for J.J. and Tylee, so stay tuned. Again, a lot about the coronavirus, and for most of us, it likely hasn't impacted our lives just yet. But that's not the case for CBS 2's Brian Warren. Brian, your son's in Japan, and he's in one of the hardest hit areas by the virus. Is that correct?
That is correct, Natalie. Now, my son graduated from Boise State last May as an English teacher. It's been his dream for years to teach English in Japan, but this coronavirus outbreak was not in the lesson plans. I spoke to him this morning via Skype to see how he is holding up.
In Hokkaido, we currently have the highest number of coronavirus cases in all of Japan.
Your island, the northernmost island, certainly seems to be the hot spot for this virus. Talk a little bit about how Hokkaido likely got exposed to this virus.
Hokkaido is a very, very popular tourist destination for Japanese citizens as well as foreign citizens abroad who travel to Japan. Hokkaido in particular in the winter is a very popular place because of the various snow and ice festivals which take place. And this took place just at the beginning of February. They also have some in middle of February, so all throughout the month essentially. So there is speculation that certainly having that higher number of tourists coming through very well could have led to increased spreading of the virus.
What kind of reception do you get in public when people see you walking around in public?
One thing I did notice is one of the days that I happened to go out, I hadn't had one of those commonly seen masks with me, and it is something that is just about expected from everyone. Despite the shortages, just about everyone has one, and so when I did go out into public, into town, I did notice a few glances simply because of the fact that I wasn't following that, normal protocol that everyone else is. And felt a little bit of guilt about that. But I only have so many of those masks, and with the shortage, it's very difficult to obtain them. So I'm trying to save them for instances where I may be entering a very heavily populated area.
What are you doing with your time, and how you getting exercise and all that kind of stuff?
To get out of the house and avoid going stir crazy, I do try to get out and get walks, get fresh air. And of course, when I need to go to the store, I still do so when necessary. But I'm trying to follow the rules as best I can. And everyone else is doing their best and doing their part to avoid the gatherings, to avoid going out in public when unnecessary. So, I just put on some good stand-up, put up a good podcast, read a book, do some writing, something to keep me occupied, and do some cooking. This kind of normal hobby stuff just to keep myself occupied and not go crazy with cabin fever.
This experience isn't turning out quite like you planned. How are you processing all of that in dealing with that?
Certainly my plans have maybe been altered a bit. And so for now, I am being extra precautious and trying to follow those guidelines as best I can that the government is recommending. But at the same time, there's an awareness that I do live here still and will continue to live here. And so life will go on and things will carry on. And I'm willing to, live somewhat an adapted lifestyle in just the same way other people will be in other areas that are affected by the virus.
All right, so my son, he's been holed up for 2 weeks. Now, he told me today they're supposed to go back to school on the 17th. However, Japan's prime minister is suggesting all school districts close until the end of the month. So that could change. Also, if the virus continues to spread, that could be a game changer as well.
So that's how son's doing. How's dad doing? Do you want him back?
I would love to have him back, but from a responsible point of view. Have him back and get in the school district and start working on that pension, but you know.
In the meantime,
he's
young, he's overseas.
We're FaceTiming 3-4 times a week. So.
That's awesome. All right, Brian, thank you.
And with this trip, it's leaving in early April. Head physician Dr. Keith Hawley tells me that they plan to help over 50 patients regain their mobility in just 5 days. This service is completely free and provides comprehensive joint care and replacement, as well as post-operative care, ensuring that these people can regain their life through mobility.
There's a big need for patients down there. We currently have over 700 people on a waiting list who need hip and knee replacement and who would otherwise have no access to this type of care down there. You know, somewhere over 100 patients a year are getting a hip and knee replacement, and it makes a huge difference for a lot of them. It's not only pain relief and improved function, but for some people it's the difference of being able to rejoin the workforce and be productive in society.
Now, this is Dr. Hawley's 6th trip to El Salvador with Operation Walk Idaho. He tells me that these trips are vital to this community. What you're seeing right now is just one example. And Dr. Hawley says the medical professionals who volunteer their time come from all across the Treasure Valley, including St. Luke's, St. Alphonsus, and Treasure Valley Hospital. He says that in order to provide 50 joint replacements in just 5 days, they're asking for help from our community through donations, and he tells me any amount would go directly to care for these patients and travel for his physicians. Now, if you're interested or would like to help donate to Operation Walk Idaho, you can donate through a link on our website, idahonews.com. Just click on this story. At the live desk, Sarah Jacobson, CBS 2 News.